Okay, so this video is for week 15, lesson 1, and it's specifically on something called reference angles. So what you're seeing on the screen is the official definition of what a reference angle is, and it's unbelievably important that you remember the 3 things that make up a reference angle. All right, it has to be acute. Okay, less than 90 degrees. Okay, less than 90. It can be 89. That's still acute, but it has to be acute. It has to be positive, okay? Because we've been talking a little bit about negative angles, right? And I may give you a negative angle to deal with, but your answer has to be positive, all right? And lastly, and probably even most important, is that it has to be made with the x-axis. All right, so you're gonna see me draw a lot of pictures, all right? Because it's so much easier, at least for me, if I can see the actual acute angle and I can not promise myself, but convince myself that it is made with the x-axis. Okay, so I'm gonna take this off so you can see. You've definitely seen the unit circle before, right? I hope you still have one printed out and nearby. But you'll be seeing me draw on this thing, okay? So here we go. So what we're gonna try to do is find the reference angles for each of these given angles. So I'm gonna do them one at a time. So let's start with this one, the 2 pi over 3, okay? So 2 pi over 3 is right here. Oh, I don't have a pen, here we go. 2 pi over 3 is right here. Okay, so if I draw that line, 2 pi over 3, and I know that I'm trying to draw an acute angle made with the x-axis. Can you see that I can't draw that right here, right? That doesn't work. It's not an acute angle that I've just drawn. That is absolutely incorrect. So let's try it the other way. So here's 2 pi over 3. Here's the x-axis. That is an acute angle, right? That's an acute angle. What I need to know is exactly how many radians is this, right? How many radians is this? So think about this. From here all the way to here is pi, right? It is pi radians. Now, I didn't go all the way, did I? I went this much. I went 2 pi over 3, right? So if I take the whole half circle and I take away how much I went, I'm left with this, okay? And if I do this little computation right here and I get a common denominator and I subtract, I get pi over 3. That is the reference angle. So let me write that in, pi over 3. All right, let's try another one. Okay, so I'm going to move over. I'm going to do the 7 pi over 6. Okay, I'm going to do this one next. Let me scoot this down and erase some marks. Okay, so 7 pi over 6 is here. 7 pi over 6 is right here. Okay, so if I want to make an acute angle with the x-axis, it's going to be right here. Okay, so now the question is, how many radians are there in this little wedge, right? How much is in that little wedge? So what I'm going to do, all right, is I am going to figure out if I know that from here to here, right, all this way is 7 pi over 6. If I subtract this much out of it, right? If I subtract out the half circle, then I'm left with the blue wedge. So now all I have to do is get a common denominator, 7 pi over 6 minus 6 pi over 6 equals pi over 6. All right, so let me scoot this up, write in my answer, pi over 6. Okay, let's try this third one. I'm going to do 7 pi over 4. Oh, let me erase some stuff. 7 pi over 4. Okay, so 7 pi over 4. Let's see, 7 pi over 4 is right here. All right, 7 pi over 4. So the acute angle, right, if it's going to be less than 90 degrees and it has to be made with the x-axis, I'm trying to figure out how many radians there are in this wedge. Okay, so you can kind of tell if I went all the way around, which is 2 pi, and I subtract this amount, which I know is 7 pi over 4, then I'm left with that green wedge, right? So let's get a common denominator. This is going to be 8 pi over 4 minus 7 pi over 4 gives me a reference angle of pi over 4. Pi over 4. Okay, next one I'm going to try is pi over 6. So let me scoot this up. Get rid of some stuff that's in the way. All right, pi over 6. Pi over 6. With an acute angle made with the x-axis. There we go, an acute angle made with the x-axis. So the question is, how many radians are in that wedge? Well, this is one of the easiest ones ever. It's just pi over 6. Right? That is the reference angle. It is acute, it's positive, and it's made with the x-axis. So let me just write that in, pi over 6. Okay, now let's try one of these that's negative. Okay, let's do negative 4 pi over 3. Negative 4 pi over 3. Okay, so if positive, I got to think this through. Positive 4 pi over 3 is here, which means I had to go through 1, 2 quadrants plus a little bit more. So let me do that in the opposite direction. 1, 2 quadrants and a little bit more. Okay, so it's this line. This is the line that I need. And I need an acute angle made with the x-axis. So this one. Okay, so here's the question. How many radians are in that wedge? All right, so this is how you do it in that quadrant. You go, all right, from here all the way to here is pi, and I'm going to subtract out this much, which is 2 pi over 3. So 3 pi over 3, right? You need a common denominator. Minus 2 pi over 3 is just 1 pi over 3. Reference angle right here, pi over 3. All right, next, let's take a look at negative 11 pi over 6. Negative 11 pi over 6. Okay, oh, missed one. There we go. Okay, so if positive 11 pi over 6 is here, right, from here to here, I have to go through 3 full quadrants plus a little bit more. So let's do that in the negative direction. So going through 1, 2, 3 full quadrants and a little bit more, I end up here. All right, so, oh, this one should be actually pretty easy. This is why I love drawing pictures to solve questions. This is the acute angle made with the x-axis. It's really easy to see that this one is pi over 6. All right, next, let's take a look at 3 pi over 4. Okay, we'll do that one next. 3 pi over 4. 3 pi over 4, which is right here. Okay, so I can see the reference angles right here, right? It's an acute angle. It's made with the x-axis. All I have to do is go pi, right, all the way to there, pi minus this much, which is 3 pi over 4. So with my common denominator, 4 pi over 4 minus 3 pi over 4 equals pi over 4. You might be able to hear my dog lapping up water right behind me. Okay, and then this very, very last one that I'm going to be doing is right here at 5 pi over 3. This is a positive 5 pi over 3. Let me get rid of some of this stuff in the way. All right, 5 pi over 3 is here. Ooh, I like this one. All right, and the reason that I like this one is somehow students like to pick the acutest angle that they can find, right, which is this one, right? Can you all see that that's an acute angle? But what's the definition again? The definition is an acute angle made with the x-axis. That is not the x-axis at all, right? This is. So this is the angle that I am trying to figure out. All right, so the way to do that is to go all the way around, which is 2 pi, and subtract out this much, which is 5 pi over 3. All right, so with a common denominator, this will be 6 pi over 3 minus 5 pi over 3, or in other words, pi over 3. So final answer here, pi over 3.